Welcome to Founders Espresso Podcast. Start your day with inspiring stories and actionable tips from founders to fuel your entrepreneurial journey. Sip up and scale up together. Thank you very much, Fabio, for being here in Founders Espresso. Welcome.
Hi everyone. It's my pleasure.
So, Fabio, first question, crucial. Do you prefer coffee, espresso, or cappuccino?
Oh, it depends on the moment of the day. I prefer cappuccino in the morning, that's for sure. But then plenty of coffee, espresso.
Espresso, yes.
Uh,
I see.
all over the day. I could drink espresso right before going to sleep. So I'm addicted.
I see. You know, this aspect, maybe because I started to drink coffee recently, a few years ago, but I really don't get it. Like, there are a lot of people that at the end of the dinner, they take a shot of coffee, and then they go to sleep as usual.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
It's Fabio. Okay. So Fabio, you founded Rockin'1000. This is the right way to say it, right?
Yeah.
Rockin'1000. It's an amazing project. Can you tell us a little bit more, and also what makes it special?
Well, Rockin'1000 started like 10 years ago now. I had a dream of having one of my favorite bands, Foo Fighters, to come and play in my hometown. And as basically it was impossible that such a famous and popular band would come to such a small place like Cesena, which is like in the middle of nowhere. So I had the idea of asking 1,000 people to play one of their songs. It took 1 year to find the money, raise musicians, figure out the way to make them play. And the video of that performance went viral, and now it counts something like 65 million views on YouTube. And Foo Fighters saw that video, decided to come over. And after that, we said, okay, we cannot stop here. We have to move on. But we're not going to make other tributes to other bands. We're going to perform just like a rock band. So we started organizing concerts with 1,000 people. So 250 singers, 250 guitars, 250 bass players, 250 drummers, all together synchronized in big stadiums. We started from the stadium of my city, again, Cesena, but then we moved to Florence, Milan, and then we started to play in other places like Paris, Madrid, Berlin, in Portugal. Then we went to Brazil, in Sao Paulo. And now we have created this community of hundreds of thousands of musicians coming from all over the world. And we give them this opportunity to play in stadiums in front of thousands of people and create a community of musicians in the real world, making them play not just in stadiums, but just around the corner next to their homes. So basically, this is what we're up to.
Amazing. Where would you like to see it in the next year or in the next 5 years? Maybe Rockin' 10,000 or no? Just Rockin'.
Well, we tried to have more musicians than 1,000, but we realized that if numbers grow that much, the quality of the sound decreases a lot. So I would say that 1,000 people is
the perfect number.
Is the perfect number. Because we're not just about numbers. We're about
Absolutely.
like creating a great show for an audience, and the quality of the show has to be good. And where I see myself, I mean, the goal I have in mind is create some sort of United Nations for musicians. Have like create this network of people where everybody share the same passion, overcoming any barrier of social interaction, sex, political orientation, gender, whatever, because we all share the same passion. We all speak the same language, which is music and rock and roll, and give everybody the possibility to make new friends, meet new friends in the real world, create experiences in the real world and make music together.
Absolutely.
Obviously, obviously, the digital aspect is very important to connect everybody and help us get people in touch with each
Mhm.
other, but it has to be a means. It cannot be a goal. We're
Absolutely.
investing in friendship and in real life experiences.
I see. I see. I love this concept of you're creating this kind of ecosystem, not from only as a viewer, but especially from the musician side. So all these people that playing together, they are super connected after this experience and stay together also after this concert. So this is something that's for me it's amazing. It's amazing concept. Fabio, I'm very curious to know like the initial steps. So like you wake up one day and because now you told me the original story, but I'm curious to know really the first steps. So you started with this idea from since high school, or no, you just pop up at a certain moment and you started to realize, okay, I want to create this kind of thing. Can you tell me a bit more?
Yeah, I, I I I wrote a book about this. It's called From Zero to Mille. This
Amazing.
is the book, and explains the process of how I got to that idea. Because before starting really thinking about it, I thought that ideas just come and go. But in truth, I think that the idea of Rockin' 1000 was conceived over a time span of 35 years. I had that idea when I was 35, so I wasn't that young
Mhm.
anymore. And in that idea, there are many small elements that and many small experiences that I had over those years, and combined helped me uh, think of this collective call to a band. Because I love music, I love sharing stuff, sharing experiences. I love like craziness. I love ambitious projects, almost impossible projects. And all these things were nurtured over my entire life.
I see.
Before that, I did other stuff in other fields, completely different stuff. But in the end, they helped me out in having this idea and starting this new journey.
I see.
Um, you know, the idea was something just crazy. I mean, I wanted to make something weird, something crazy. I wanted to involve people. I was inspired by a movie called The School of Rock by
Yeah,
Jack Black.
check
And
back.
Jack
Amazing.
Black in that movie, there was an extra content where Jack Black pleads Led Zeppelin to give them one of their songs, and to convince them, he records this video surrounded by 1,000 people screaming, and he starts to pray Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones and Robert Plant to give him this video. And so I was really shocked by this idea of like collective call to somebody unreachable. And I transformed this thing into like not just a plead, but a tribute, a musical tribute.
I
And
see.
then that's how Rockin' 1000 was born. The
Amazing.
first steps, I mean, I was a marine geologist before as a
Mhm.
career, and I had no experiences at all in organizing concerts. So the first thing that I did was asking for help. So I involved some friends that were experts in organizing events and
Mhm.
communication and sales and productions and so on. And they decided to join me in this crazy challenge. And these friends are now my partners in the company that manages the band.
See, super cool, super. Such an inspiring stories. I love it. And Fabio, like now we are talking about this team, your team member that are also your friend. How did you select it at the beginning?
Well, mostly it was skills, uh, because I didn't want to ask Google for help in when I wanted to organize something this size.
So
Uh, The tricky part was finding the right motivation rather than the right people, because I mean there are plenty of people who are capable with experiences, but not everybody is willing to jump into a project without being paid,
Hmm.
just out of craziness or out of the challenge. So uh, their motivation was different from mine, definitely. So
Hmm.
somebody wanted to make something with their friends. Somebody else wanted to challenge their knowledge. Somebody else wanted to prove to their bosses that they were capable of doing more
Hmm.
than their assignments at work. So each people had a different motivation. So my part was just to figure out which was the right one for the right people.
I see.
And it definitely worked, because we really created right from the start a team of professionals that were really oriented with different
Mhm.
motivations, but the same energy and passion and will.
I see. I see. I see that probably from what you have achieved also in your life, it's one of the, I would say, one of your best skill set. Not trying to convince, but also to share your vision to the people. So I would say that that was probably one of your uh, the biggest skill set, and we can see easily from what you have achieved. So very nice. Fabio, if Rocky 1000 were an animal, what would it be and why?
Oh my God. Uh, I don't know. It would be probably a fantasy animal,
Mhm.
one of those that do not exist in reality.
Mhm.
Um, Definitely, it would be a unicorn for me, because to make it work, to believe in it, and to make it grow, you have to believe somehow in unicorns. But I don't know, probably a unicorn is not enough. It would be also like a unicorn that changes from times to time its
Skin.
skin, just like snakes. Because in order to grow and to change, we had to change our business model many times. We had to, yeah, to make like strong decisions that
Sure.
really changed the project all over the years. So I don't know. I would call, yeah,
Um,
a unicorn that changes the
I see.
skin.
I see. A unicorn snake. Something.
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
Nice. Nice. Fabio, can you tell me a funny or memorable episode that happened during your journey with Rockin' 1000?
Oh, there are plenty of like funny stories behind Rockin' 1000. A story that I do not explain so often is from not so many years ago. After COVID, or during COVID, we
Mhm.
decided to change, and because we wanted to become a global movement, we wanted to involve the community more and more, not just in concerts, but in this concept of helping them uh,
Mhm.
play music all over the year. And to make that happen, we needed funds. And so
Mhm.
we started looking for investors, and we launched an equity crowdfunding campaign. And right after launching it, we were contacted by the CEO of Gucci, you know,
Mhm.
the brand, who wanted to meet us because his fund, the fund he's part of, was interested into investing in Rockin' 1000.
Interesting.
And he wanted to talk to me right away. But in that moment, I was like in Milan. I was just dressed like shit, dressed like
No, it's
this. So,
casual.
and so my main concern was not, oh my God, I'm meeting. I'm what am I gonna say? How am I going to talk about the project? But what is he thinking? What is he gonna think about me if I'm
Absolutely.
dressed like this, like in a pajama,
Mhm.
basically? But I had to go there anyways because you cannot refuse.
Absolutely.
So I showed up at the entrance of the Gucci headquarter in Milan. I was really dressed like shit, and there was a really beautiful girl at the entrance. I mean, she was like a model, and she looked at me as if I was like a pizza guy or something like that.
Delivery guy.
Yeah, and I said, "Hey, I have a meeting with Marco Bizzarri, the CEO of Gucci," and so she was like, she couldn't believe that I was like that is something like that was possible. So she said, "Okay, just wait a little bit." She went back, she made a phone call, and she rushed to me with a beautiful smile, saying, "Hey, sorry, I couldn't think that you could meet the big boss, but help me in. You can enter," and that was a kind of fun, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, of course, in the Gucci environment, of course, it's it's common, but yeah, super cool. Fabio, usually I ask about who is the entrepreneur you admire the most, but for your case, I would like to ask you who is the musician you admire the most, and what makes them stand out in your eyes.
Well, obviously, Dave Grohl is a musician that I probably admire. Is one of the people I admire the most.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely him, because he's somebody who made the history of music not once but twice. I mean, he was able to, I mean, he was like the drummer of one of the most important and influential bands of the world in Nirvana. And when the Nirvana ceased, he decided to create his own band, and he entered the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame again with his personal project. And it's not easy. I mean, there are not so many people in music that could do something like that. And I also love his attitude of like being so now down to earth, very attentive, very funny, not taking himself so seriously. I mean, he's a nice guy on one side, but he's a real rocker at the same time. I mean, he's like a mixture of a lot of stuff. So yeah, I think he's one of the musicians I admire the most.
Nice. Thank you, Fabio. And can you tell me more about the graphic of the Responsible Dreamers? So I've seen that you've done a TEDx on this subject. You have created a graph. I will share on the screen. Can you tell me a bit more about this, or maybe the secret behind this? Or
yeah, many times because of what I did, I'm referred to as like the dreamer, and and dreams always come up with a lot of stereotypes and a lot of like suggestions, like you can achieve anything, you just go for it. I mean, inside of you there is like you can achieve whatever you want. That actually is not true. I think that there are limits. So I started thinking about introducing the concept of responsible dreaming, and so I drew this graph with like some indications about how to be responsible and a dreamer at the same time. So there are like two axes. One is for ambition, and the other one is for planning. In general, I think that over a scale from 0 to 10, the range of dreams goes from 8 to 9. Everything that goes from 9 to 10 is a mirage. Under 8, I mean, you're more in the comfort zone. And in terms of planning, if you want to plan too much, you tend to stress out. So you need to keep some sort of space for changes. Absolutely. And for keeping the antennas up so that you can eventually take decisions along the way. Because if you're too focused about one goal that has to be reached in just one way, I don't think that this is effective, especially if you have a big ambition or a big dream to achieve. So dreaming responsibly means having like the right ambition, not too much, not too small, and at the same time, a little bit of planning, but not too much. And in that area, we have the responsible dreamers. Otherwise, you might be like a kid, an artist, somebody who's too stressed out, um,
Sì.
without dreaming too much. Yeah. So
Sì.
this is basically the concept behind that.
I love it. I love it. Fabio, can you share a mistake that taught you a valuable lesson and how you managed your emotions during that time?
Well, me and my team, we made many mistakes over time. Let me see. Let me think. Something that is valuable, because you make small mistakes every single day, basically, and sometimes you nail it. Most of the times you don't do it. And I think that these are like it's not about like big mistakes, but it's about small mistakes that you make that are bound to a small attitude, a wrong attitude, like and this is mostly from what I think is sometimes trying to willing to make too many things on every week, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. So making plans of a million things that we might do, but in the end, if you want to do everything, I mean, you get stuck. In the end, you start to overlap your actions, and this leads to nothing. So many mistakes that we did as a team over the years were willing to make too many things, and at some point get stuck and not arriving at the end of anything. So
I see.
I think that all actions should be like studied before start. I mean, it's okay being ambitious, but again, it's better if you think what it means to be that ambitious. So the effort that we're doing now on a daily basis is asking ourselves every time, does this really matters? Is this really making a difference? Shall we choose from this or that? And focusing a lot on making the decisions right, instead of trying to figure out which is the right decisions to make.
I see.
And this probably led us to a lot of work that turned into nothing for years. So this, I would say, is the biggest mistake that I've made so far.
It's really interesting because, Fabio, it's one of my core probably problem in this period. Like, I want to do so many stuff, and sometimes I really feel stuck because you have so many things to do and want to do that at the end you don't do effectively anything, and so you are actually stuck and you are slowing your process of doing stuff. So it's I see. It's super interesting.
Yeah, I think that having limitless opportunities is a curse. Because if you have like limitless paths that you can walk through, it's really hard to make a decision. Sometimes having constraints help us focusing more rather than okay, I can do anything. But it's complicated, especially now in this period when with artificial intelligence. I mean, there is like a never-ending list of things that through AI we could do, but at the same time, we really risk to get stuck because it's so many things that we can do that in the end we start this, we start that, and in the end we cannot go anywhere.
Absolutely, very true. Fabio, do you have any unconventional approach to promote project? For example, in your case, you have with Rockin'1000, you started with this unconventional approach of recruitment videos, crowdfunding campaign. What was the most surprising lesson you learned during these initiatives?
Well, something that we learned along the way is that challenges, ambitious challenges, tend to unite people, and this helps a lot in recruiting people, even without paying them. The challenge was of the Rockin'1000 in the very beginning. It was crazy, but not impossible. It was very hard. I mean, in a scale of ambition, it was a 9. It was not a 10. And in this way, we could really have like many musicians, but also technicians and professionals to join the challenge with us because they wanted to be part of it and see how it goes. And it really worked. So
Nice.
the challenge has a really uniting power, I guess. And but besides this, and that's probably our characteristics that reflects my personality, probably, is we've never taken ourselves very seriously. It's the irony is always there. The possibility to have a laugh at that helps, because if you have a big challenge and you don't want to take yourself too seriously, the air around us is lighter, and we feel less pressure. We can also fail and we can have a laugh at it because we tried and it didn't work out. But yes, I mean, these two aspects were like are my personal way of building my future.
I see. Amazing. Fabio, is there a book or a course that deeply inspires you along the journey?
Oh, I mean, my journey is long and different, and every book and every experience was influenced by a book. How can I say? When I wanted years ago, before Rockin'1000, I was really inspired by Into the Wild, the book. The idea of like escaping the world to have a real experience was something that really inspired me a lot. Later on, other books, I don't know the English translation of the book. It's called La passeggiata dell'ubriaco. It's like a book of statistics and math, basically, that explains that a scientific approach to life and how our perception is biased, while numbers could help us taking better decisions. And it's a very nice book, I think. And if I had to say another third book, I would say I can't remember the title. It's like The Importance of Not Giving a Fuck.
Ah, sì.
I
it here. Mark Manson.
Yes.
This one. Yeah, I love it. This.
Yeah, I love that book. I really found many hints.
It's true.
I could relate to.
Mark Manson, really a good book. Fabio, do you have any daily routine or habit that has positively impacted your productivity and motivation?
I'm a procrastinator. I define myself a proud procrastinator, because for me, procrastination is not failing deadlines. I mean, it's like arriving to deadlines in a different way. I have my own theory that with me it works. If my mind wants to go somewhere, I have to follow that direction. I cannot force my mind into something because there is a deadline next week and so I have to work on it. These thoughts and these deadlines and all the things that I have to do while procrastinating start like working in the back of my head. And when I get closer to my deadline, because of that, in a very natural way, my ideas are a lot clearer. In this way, I can get rid of like options that are not so convincing. What remains stuck at the end of doing other stuff is what really matters. And this really helps me in
I see.
in finding the right way without forcing myself into this.
I
So
see.
this is like, it's not a daily routine, it's more like a habit, and not forcing myself into that. And
Interesting.
this I think would be very useful for anybody having a creative job or creative aspects of the job. And it's something that I mean, what I would say to all the procrastinators in the world is, do not fight it, just orient it,
I see.
just
I see.
just
And it's super interesting because it's connected a lot with this kind of concept that your subconscious part of your mind is always working. So sometimes you just don't have to worry consciously about the problem. You just have to just even doing other stuff because your subconscious part side is working for you. So
yeah,
interesting.
shitty ideas in the back of your brain rot naturally. So
Yes.
don't think about it. Just go just go with it. And yes, and procrastinating, it means using time in a different way, and eventually start learning stuff that on a short term are completely useless,
Mhm.
but at some point on the long term they can come out and pop out of nowhere in a non-planned way and can become really useful, really useful. So
So
being procrastinate is like an investment in the future, I call it.
nice. Love it. I love it. Fabio, what are the three personal qualities that have helped you the most as a founder, and how did you develop them?
I think that the qualities that I am trying to nurture and put at work are probably listening. So the giving others the possibility to explain, talk, express themselves, and being open to change your mind. I would say that I change my mind pretty often, and again, I don't think that it's a bad thing. This is one. The other one is obviously procrastinate, and the other one, yeah, just do stuff. Do stuff. I mean, when I say do stuff, is do not wait too much. Just do it. Just throw yourself into something. You're curious about something. You think that an idea could be like a good idea for the company, for the project, for yourself. If you choose and you make a decision, just don't wait too much. Just take the
Absolutely.
first step and see how it goes.
Absolutely. I love this concept because it's connected a lot with this kind of approach of soft commitment. So you don't have to start with a strong yes. You can say, okay, soft yes. Okay, let's do this small thing. And I love also the fact that in this approach of doing and moving forward, you are kind of understanding that this perception of risk is just in your mind, because we're not going in the wild fighting lions and bears. We are just in a society that is more or less, especially in Europe, it's super safe. You don't nothing happen if you launch a project and it fail.
Yeah,
So why not trying?
yeah. I mean, and every time you try something, and you try to create it, you learn something. I love doers. I love those who really uh, uh, put their hands in the jam, as we say in Italian, because if you stay only in the theory, you
Mm-hmm.
never really get something. You never really own something. You start to own
Absolutely.
stuff when you start doing them. uh, I started coding for fun, and then just because I wanted to see how it works, and then I liked it, and then I went on and on and on, and in the end, I developed the app that is currently working on managing like Rockin'1000.
I see.
I wanted to learn guitar just because I wanted to listen to music in a better way. I mean, I wasn't that young anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but in the end, I ended up like creating a project that goes around music and musicians, and
Absolutely.
starting to play guitar, even if I'm not a really good guitarist, helped me understand my community and the musicians, help me
Absolutely.
understand what they love, how they feel, their motivation. And this helped me build the project of Rocking 1000. And,
Absolutely.
now it's very easy to connect all the dots. While I was starting all that stuff, I could never imagine that. And this is why I think it's very important to do stuff, because at some point, after doing stuff, when you find yourself into managing people that actually are doing that stuff instead of you, you understand them better. Because I
Absolutely.
don't know, I can like edit videos, for example. I'm not a professional, but now if I have to guide a team of about video making, I know what this is about.
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
know how long it takes to create a good video, a graphic animation, or whatever. So
Absolutely.
all the doers are great managers. Those are really good at just strategy. I don't think they're good managers. They cannot be, because
I
they
see.
don't know what it means.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very true. Fabio, if you could go back to the day you started Rocky 1000, what advice would you give yourself to save time or stress?
Don't stress out that much. It's not worth it. But it's
Nice.
really hard now. It's really easy now, and it's really hard while you're at it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I see because I personally think this kind of stress you have it at the beginning because you want to make it happen. So I can talk from my experience with Founders Espresso. Now I feel the stress, the pressure of doing and moving forward because I haven't seen yet as a final as in my final vision. So until I reach that point, of course, I see the difficulties for me to just relax and say, okay, it's going to happen after a certain date or whatever. But of course, when you are at the beginning, you don't know. So you,
Yeah, you're right. But the problem with this is that
Mhm.
every time you reach a goal, then you have in front of you another like 10 goals. So you never stop. So if you think that way, you're never gonna be satisfied. If
I
you
see.
always like project yourself into the future, new goals that you have to achieve, you will never enjoy what you're actually doing. So
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do, and I still struggle with that, obviously, but
Mhm.
what I'm trying to do is that once something good happens, I try to stop and say, hey, there is something good happening. Just stop for a while, just enjoy it, and tomorrow you start.
I see. I see. Very interesting. Very interesting. Fabio, what is the moment or aspect of your journey that you are most proud of?
Uh, well, uh, I mean, I would say that the thing that I'm most proud of is the idea of helping people achieve their dreams. I think this is like a great privilege that I have and that I've had, because seeing thousands of people from all over the world as they enter the football pitch with the crowded stadiums of screaming people, and they're like amateur musicians. They could never achieve something like that alone. They can do it together thanks to something that I created with my team. I think that that's the thing that makes me proud the most,
Sì,
and that's my main motivation to go on and struggle a lot on a daily basis.
love
So
it.
yeah, that's definitely the best part of this journey.
Nice. Love it. Love it. Cool. Fabio, last question. What is your deeper why? So in this small chat, you have already told me a bit your why. Can you tell me a little bit more? What keeps you motivated on the toughest days?
Well, my deeper why has changed over time a lot as I grew older. In the beginning, my deeper why was like trying to impress people, live adventures, and prove myself that I'm capable of doing incredible things. That was like my main push. But this has changed, luckily, as I grew older and more mature. And now my deeper why is like creating, as I said before, is like creating something that has a value for many people. Lately, as I grew older and older, I started to put into the list of my priorities, not just thinking so much about the whole world, to make the whole world happy, but to focus on the people near me. So my why now is to make them proud, and I'm talking about the people, my friends, my family, the people I love, my girlfriend. I mean, dedicate time to the people that matter in my life, that for years I couldn't and I didn't take care so much. So these have been my whys over the years.
Love it, love it. Fabio, thank you very much. It was amazing, an amazing chat. Grazie Fabio, buona
Grazie,
giornata,
buona giornata.
buona continuazione. Ciao ciao.
Ciao ciao.